guys, welcome to Adventure Camping. My dad here, or as you guys know, Tactical Nut, will be talking about the Springfield XD today. On a totally unrelated note, okay, on another unrelated note, I jammed myself in the pencil today at a jewelry place. Forgot the name of it, even though we were just there this morning, and it wasn't that long ago. So, yeah. So I'm just gonna let him talk, and yeah, goodbye.
Alright guys, let's get to it. Today, we're going to be doing a review of the Springfield XD Tactical. As you can see here, I have the 40 caliber version. As you can see, oops, sorry, looking at a screen upside down is kind of hard. XD and Tactical. I went with the 40 caliber version because I just like the bullet ballistics and stuff, but I have started to shoot a 9mm a whole lot more, mostly because of ammo prices. As you can see here, made in Croatia. And let me give you a little bit of the selling points first as to why I picked this, is before I really start going into the specifics of the gun. It came with, as you can see here, this is a holster, a magazine loader, and dual magazine pouch or holster. Now I like that because right off the bat it meant that I didn't have to go out and buy a holster that fit this gun. This is not the greatest by any stretch of the imagination, but it does work well, it does fit it perfect, and it saved me from having to spend extra money to have something to carry it in. Magazine loader I very rarely use because my thumbs don't have any issues loading the magazines, but if you're going to do a lot of shooting, these do come in really handy. And of course a magazine pouch to be able to have the magazines quick and ready to go, easy to reach. Another of the selling points was the fact that it comes with 3 12-round magazines. Oops, everything's backwards. So that was another huge selling point for me, because having extra magazines is always important when you're going out shooting, because it saves you a lot of reloading time and keeps you up running and gunning, especially when you're in a indoor range where you have to pay by the hour. The least amount of time I can spend loading magazines, the better, and that way I don't have to think about it. Also came with the cleaning brush, Allen wrench to be able to adjust the holster.
What's this?
Those are the magazines.
What's that?
And of course it came with a child lock, because all guns have to have those. Now, why did I pick this model in particular? Now I'll give you a couple reasons. One, the Tactical has a 5-inch barrel. This is going to lead to more accuracy and better bullet ballistics, because the longer the bullet gets to travel down the barrel, the more velocity it's going to gain. So I like that as well. The sights, as you can see, 3-dot sights. Let me get behind the camera, maybe a little easier for this. 3-dot sights work really well, but my only complaint is that there's a little too much space. So eventually I'll probably will save up and replace the sights on them. Night sights probably not so much, because I'm going to get a flashlight, and if I have a flashlight on here, then there's absolutely no reason to have night sights, because I'll be able to identify the target easier. Plus 2, if all I can see is the sights and I can't see my target, then I shouldn't be pulling the trigger anyway. Just my opinion on that. Another thing I like, it has a loaded chamber indicator. As you see this little piece right here, when there is a round in the chamber, it will pop up. So if it was dark and I was first grabbing the weapon, I could easily just run my thumb over it and know if there's one in the chamber or if there's not. It also has a striker indicator, letting you know if it's ready to fire. If this was out, or if this was pushed in and you couldn't really see it, then you know it's not ready to fire. If you ran your thumb over it and you can feel it, you know this gun's ready to go. The controls are very simple. You got your slide release here, and then of course to take the slide off to clean it right here. Now, it does have a trigger safety, like a lot of firearms, especially a Glock. They all have the trigger safety. That way, if something was to get caught on the edge of the trigger, if you're walking through the woods and a branch caught it, it's not going to fire. But it also has a grip safety. Now I know a lot of different people have their own feelings about these. I also put this grip on here, which if you have a grip safety, they really tell you not to do. But as you can see, it's not engaging the grip safety, but this really does help give a lot of extra grip. Personally, I like the idea of the grip safety because especially when I first got it, Baby Glock was only 3 and her hand would have not been big enough at the time to be able to pull the trigger and depress the trigger safety at the same time. So that was kind of a selling point for me, but also, I mean, if I'm going to be gripping a firearm and have to shoot it, I have to have my hand there anyway. So why someone would be opposed to it, I'm not really sure. Obviously you see little blue stickers on here. That is because I'm covering up the serial numbers, not because there's anything wrong with the firearm. Now the sights are, the front and rear sight are adjustable. As you can see here, you can move them from side to side, but cannot be adjusted for windage. They do not go up and down. But for me, I haven't seen a need. But I tell you what, this has this accessory rail here, so that way you can add a light, you can add a laser. There's multiple configurations. This Springfield has been out for a long time, so the availability of accessories is really high. Not as high as a Glock, but you still have tons of accessories that you can put on these. I just never have felt the need to do so, but if you wanted to, there's a lot of options. Like I said, I am going to eventually save up and get a light for this, and that's probably going to be all. I do like the trigger guard because it is pretty big, so if I was wearing gloves, I don't have any issues because I have shot wearing gloves with it. I like the fact that it is flat right here and not rounded, but it also has striations here for a little bit of grip, because there are a lot of times I'm the type of person that I will put my finger around the trigger guard just because I find it more comfortable that way, and it actually has helped me with a lot of accuracy. Your serrations here and here are actually pretty aggressive, so being able to rack the slide is pretty easy. And the breakdown is really quick. All you're going to do is pull the slide back, move this down, pull your trigger, and then the slide just pops right off. And then all you have is the recoil spring, which as you can see is right here, and the barrel. Those two pieces come out and bang, you're done. Cleanup is very, very simple. Now, I've had this for 6 years. I've put thousands of rounds, as you can see the wear and tear on it a little bit. But this thing has functioned flawlessly with a small caveat there. And I'll tell you what the problem has been. With factory ammunition, it has eaten everything I've put through it, and no hang-ups, no jams, nothing. No failures to feed, no failures to go on a battery, nothing. 100% flawless. However, I did buy some hand loads from a deputy from the sheriff's department here in town that I knew really well. He was giving me a great deal, but they were solid lead bullets, and those would hang up either every round or every couple of rounds. So obviously I just quit shooting them. However, I have found out that you possibly can go into a gunsmith and have them polish the feeding ramp on the inside, and that will take care of that issue. I haven't done it. I don't have any more of the hand loads, and I don't plan on using them anymore anyway. So I don't have to worry about that issue. I may start doing some reloading because I have a buddy that does, and if I do, I'll take it to a gunsmith and have that ramp polished out or whatever their modification they have to do to it. But for now, it's only factory ammo, and no matter what type of factory ammo I put through it, it functions perfectly every time. Like I said, I mean, I like the 40 caliber, I really, really do. I like that round, but for the expense, I've really started shooting a 9mm a lot more. I'm saving up to buy a different handgun, and I'll probably get a 9mm, but I like using this for home defense. I keep it in the truck all the time. This would not be optimum for concealed carry. By the way, yes, the magazine is out. I did clear the chamber, just in case you're curious. I just don't want to rip off the tape into it. That's why I haven't pulled the slide back and forth. I didn't have any good low-fitting electrical tape, so yes, not really concealed carry. The gun is definitely too big for that. But as you've seen in a lot of my hiking videos, I do take this with me all the time. I have complete confidence with it. I would trust this gun with my life. Works great. I mean, it's perfect for carrying in the car and keeping by the bed in your safe and stuff in order to defend your home with it. Accuracy is outstanding. I wish I had been keeping my targets over the years. There's been multiple times where I had, but I ended up throwing them away. So as soon as I do go out shooting again, I will keep the targets to show that accuracy is absolutely outstanding. If you're doing your part with the proper trigger control and sight alignment, this gun's going to deliver. I tell you every time. For home defense and self-defense, I do keep two different types of rounds. I keep the Starfire hollow points and Hornady. Both of them have worked extremely well. I barely do any target shooting with these, mostly just to make sure that they function well in the weapon, and then I'm used to how it feels when I'm shooting them, but that's just way too expensive to target shoot with. So target rounds is mostly what I use. A lot of Federal, Winchester, and Tula, however it's supposed to be pronounced. But all of those function flawlessly. And those are low-cost ammunition, so higher grade, I can only imagine, is still going to function perfectly well. I paid, price on this was $539, well, 6 years ago. The price hasn't changed that much in the time. I got a really good deal. I have a gun shop here in town that probably has some of the lowest prices I've seen on firearms. Academy Sports also has really goods. I haven't checked theirs lately, but that's what I paid for mine, so I almost couldn't pass that up. At the time, Glocks were going for like $650, which was going to be my first choice, but after I saw what all I got with this, because the Gen 3 Glock was the only one out at the time, and all you got was, I think, the firearm and one extra mag. So with what I got for this, to me it was a no-brainer. I couldn't pass it up, and I have other buddies that have highly recommended it. So my view is I love it. I recommend it. I wouldn't hesitate to tell someone to get it. That's how much I like this gun. That's how well it's done for me. Of course, with any firearm, there can be hiccups, and if anybody knows, the Gen 4 Glock, when it first came out, was having quite a few issues, it sounded like, with recoil springs, which, you know, they've fixed now. But this one, I mean, perfect. I haven't seen any issues on other reviews, except for maybe in the break-in period, a failure to go into battery every so often, but that never happened with mine. So all I can give you is my experience, my data, my evaluation. So hopefully this will help you determine what's right for you. Obviously they have smaller versions. They now have single stack, smaller subcompacts that are even thinner. My wife doesn't like shooting this one as much because the grip's a lot larger, so it's harder for her to get her hand around. For me, it's no issues. I mean, it's this thing, you can just drill away with it, and I absolutely love it. Easy to clean, no complaints, highly recommend it. If you're in the market and you have this much to spend, I highly recommend spending it on this. There are lower cost option handguns, and my philosophy, and this is just my personal philosophy, is that if you're just have a firearm that's dedicated for target shooting, spending a huge amount of money to me is unnecessary because you're target shooting. If it malfunctions, your life is not in any danger, who cares? If you're buying one for home defense or everyday carry as a concealed carry permit holder, or, you know, just to carry in your truck for self-defense, if you're not a concealed carry holder but you can open carry, spend the extra money, because I mean, for most parts and what I've seen in most reviews and evaluations, most guns tend to fail after they've put, you know, several thousand rounds through them. And your higher end firearms make that round count even higher. You know, you're getting 10, 20,000 rounds before you have to replace anything, or possibly even up to 50,000. So unless you're a hardcore shooting all the time, spending this amount of money, I wouldn't say is necessary, unless you're going to be putting your life on it. Then that's a time that I kind of wouldn't skimp on it. But for this price, I mean, I have an outstanding firearm to target shoot, home defense, self-defense. It covers all of it, and I highly recommend it. So hopefully this helps. In the meantime, be prepared and have fun.